Hey, what's up, everybody? Swish here, coming to you from my garage. I wasn't going to do this video outside, but it's extremely noisy and windy outside from the highway and from the development back there, so I didn't think you would be able to hear me. What I wanted to do is do a review for the basic survival class at the Pathfinder school in Ohio, hosted by Dave Canterbury. I just got back this weekend. Some of you have probably seen my pictures. I trained for 3 months prior to getting to it, and I'm glad I did. And I don't think there's really been a review for a while now. And some things have changed because the school is always evolving, always changing. There are things that might be different from past reviews that I watched that when I got there, it was a little bit different. It was a challenging course, and I definitely got my money's worth in. So I was grateful for that, and ultimately did get my certification there for that, and I ultimately patched. So that's the goal, is to patch. In order to move on to the next class, you have to patch. But if you don't quit, you can still get the certification and everything. So what I wanted to do is review, show you what my gear looks like after it. I haven't cleaned anything yet, so I wanted to show you kind of the condition that it's in, what held up, and talk about things that maybe I could have done differently. Some of the things I learned, I'm not going to give too much away, so that way you guys can have a great experience if you want to do this. If you are a hiker, a camper, a hunter, this is the survival class for you, because that's kind of what it's based around, woodsman mentality. Being able to, if you're a hunter going out and something happens, you get in a survival situation and you're in the woods. There's different type of survival scenarios, urban. This one is more focused on being woodsman, how to rescue, how to land nav, all that good stuff. So stay tuned. I'm gonna move the camera here and show you what the gear looks like, talk about the gear, and then talk about some other things afterwards. So. Okay, so I really can't do any kind of zooming. I'm not a professional YouTuber, guys, so I don't have anything fancy, just kind of a tripod to hold my phone, so I can't get too close up, so I'll bring things close as I kind of go over the gear and show you what it looks like up close. So I'll start with these drum liners here. There were 4 55-gallon 6 mil drum liners. I bought these off Self-Reliance Outfitters website. I actually bought 6 so I could have 2 just here, because the 6 mil ones are just kind of hard to find. I only used 3 out of the 4. This one got used almost, bring it up closer, this one got used almost every day that I was there to collect smalls in. All the sticks that you have together, smalls, pencil size sticks. The first day was, well, I don't want to give too much away. Anyway, that's what I used to collect smalls, and you can kind of see that there are some holes in it there. I think there was one section I had to, I taped up, you really can't see it, taped up with the Gorilla Tape there, just to keep it going on that. So I use this bag a lot. The next 2 bags right here were to make a browse bed. You do have a shelter, so we made browse beds, so that's what these 2 were used for. And this one was just a spare one. I ended up not even using it. Just kept in my bag in case the other ones just couldn't do what they were supposed to do. So, all right, get those out of the way. Talk about clothing. These pants are just, I forget where I bought these, online somewhere, Woodland camo pants. They do have the same material. Let's see, who are they by? Proper. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. What was it? Yeah, Proper. Just kind of show you. It's dirty. You see all the mud, everything, the dark spots. You're gonna get dirty at this course. It's gonna happen. You're gonna get dirty. You're gonna get muddy. It might rain, so you get a little wet. Just expect that. So, but these pants held up pretty good. I did not have to make any repairs. A lot of thorns out there, a lot of briars walking through, and these held up real nice, real nice. All right, here was my t-shirt. It's an FW22 t-shirt from my hometown. Wanted to show support for those guys. FW22 raises money for veteran suicide mental health. So I took it and it held up. I don't have any rips or tears in it. It just is real dirty, real wrinkly. So it held up really nice. I had this kind of a endurance long sleeve. It was November, but Saturday was 81 degrees and Friday was like 78. It still was hot. So I only needed this at night. So check the weather before you go, because on the website it says wear what you need for the environment. So check the weather before you go. Even if you don't think it's gonna rain, it wasn't supposed to and it did rain a little bit. I didn't bring anything for wet weather, but the rain wasn't bad, so I was fine. So, but check the weather before you go with that. So, and I brought my orange beanie hat just because it kept my head warm at night on the shelter, which is cool. Gloves. I took gloves. It's not on the list. Everybody take gloves. You're gonna want gloves. Like I said, there's a lot of thorns. There's a lot of stuff there. You're gonna want to take gloves. So everybody take gloves. Make sure you take, these were okay. Has a little knuckle thing. I'm probably gonna take some like mechanics gloves next time. These actually still ended up poking through on my finger. Got a thorn in there. Still kind of just a little sore, but no big deal. So but take gloves. You're gonna need them and you're gonna use them. But these held up pretty nice. So take gloves. Your cotton material, your shamag. I really didn't use it. You can use it as a container. A lot of people were using it as a towel to wipe the sweat away, to keep warm at night around their neck. So if you want to use your shmag, use your shmag. Other cotton material here, I had a bandana. I used this for Tinder resources as kind of a container. So we were given a goodie bag here. There was some fat wood in it, and any chance I could get on a break, I was taking my knife and making shavings with it and using it in here to have. So great use of the container. Didn't use the shirt. I just bought a full cotton shirt because you had to have extra cotton material. So didn't use it, that's fine. This wool blanket, I have a queen size because I thought it was gonna be cold, is from that up there, Woolly Mammoth. And it kept me super warm. I was actually sweating at night and there was no fire. We weren't allowed to have fires where the shelters are. So I brought this and I was toasty warm. So Woolly Mammoth, but again, it only got down to like 56 at night. So I don't know how this does in extreme cold. I plan on testing that to see how warm this keeps me as it gets colder in December, January, stuff like that, see if it holds up, because I want to test it out, because I do want to go to the intermediate course, and when that happens, I want to make sure that I stay nice and warm. So Woolly Mammoth, thank you. Nobody's paying me or anything to say it, but that's where I got it from. It was a decent price. I think it was under $100, and it served me well, and it didn't rip or anything. See, talk about my pack. I'm Army, old school Army. When I first came into the Army, we had Alice packs, woodland camo. That's how far back I go. Some people call me a grunt paw, but just had kind of an Alice pack. This is a canvas style Alice pack. See, it's kind of little dirt, not much. with a frame, and I was able to put some other kind of, this was just kind of held my lighters and certain things in there. But it held up nicely, great lumbar support. I was incredibly comfortable. So, but this bag held up nicely. I'm probably gonna change. The only thing I didn't like, because you're gonna be getting into your kit a lot. You're gonna be pulling things out of your bag, stuff like that, and using it, because that's where everything is these are down here to tighten it. So I'm probably gonna take this to an alteration shop and have them add clips here so I can just clip it and get in and out of the bag real quick. But other than that, this bag is tried and true. Old school's the best school. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right, extra pair of socks. Bring socks. Bring an extra pair of socks. My feet got wet, so bring an extra pair of socks. I brought 2 pairs, and I actually didn't even use the second pair, just the 1 pair, because at night by the fire, was able to get warm, dry out my boots, dry out my socks, which leaves me, I forgot to, 1 second. Leads me to the next item of clothing. These Danner boots I got. These were able to dry out. They held up phenomenal. I actually got these issued to me in 2011, but Army leadership wouldn't let us wear it because it was only for in-country. So they're still pretty new because I never wore them until just a few years ago. So I just kept them this whole time in great condition, and they were comfortable. Yeah, it's a Danner Vibram, V-I-B-R-A-M there. But yeah, these were great. These held up super nice. Now what do we got? Cutting tools. 1 cutting tool, Swiss Army knife. You can either take a Leatherman or a Swiss Army knife. I chose a Swiss Army knife because I didn't see the use for pliers. So there's my Swiss Army knife. Lifetime warranty. I ended up using the toothpick a lot because we had some beef jerky and it got stuck in my teeth, so I was using that a lot. I pretty much did not use this, but it was there in case I needed it, like if my saw broke or something like that. And I had it in my pocket the whole time, and I carry it everywhere I go anyway. So what's recommended is the Baco Laplander saw. Put this one down. I used this once because we had to bring back, one of our deliverables was a mallet. So I used this one time and it did great. My partner had a Silky and it broke the first time he used it. And I think it was just the blade, it was he had an extra blade, but we ended up using this and it held up great. Under here, sail needle. Under here, the sail needle is on the packing list. I didn't use it because I didn't have to make any kind of repairs, so that was good. The Mora Garberg. I love this knife. I was an 80s kid, so Rambo and Crocodile Dundee, in my era, it was the big knife, and I do have a Becker BK9, 9-inch blade, but one thing I learned is sometimes smaller is better, and I absolutely love this knife. Full tang, but this is the condition that it's in afterwards, mainly this side, from striking the ferro rod a lot. Scraping, see, I don't know if you can see that very well. Come on, focus. Anyway, scraping a lot of shavings for tinder, for your fire, but it held up great and it is still sharp. Still pretty sharp. A lot of people, it's $80 depending on if you get the leather sheath. There's a survival one, comes with a ferro rod. I just bought this one. It was like $20 less, and it just came with this leather clip and this plastic sheath. And this leather clip held up super nice. It didn't, when I was going through some brush, I felt it pull. I thought, oh man, I'm gonna lose it. Never lost it. This little leather clip that kind of pops off there, because you can interchange them, held up nice. And this is recommended on their website. So I just went on the Self-Reliance Outfitters website. They do have their own knives. There were guys who had like the Mountaineer PKS knife, and those are great knives. I was able to look at them. So if you want to get those knives, go to Self-Reliance Outfitters And check out, I think Dave's got a knife. Sean Kelly's got a knife. I don't know who else has a knife. There's a few of them. There's a 15% site-wide sale, so it's a pretty good thing. But the only thing is, a lot of those knives do not come with a sheath. So, and that's okay. I'm not trying to, but I'm just saying, if you're thinking about a knife, make sure you think about getting a sheath for that if you're going to take it to the course, because you're going to need something to put it in. You don't want to just have an open knife. So you're going to need to think about getting a sheath, whatever you want, a Kydex or leather, whatever works for you. So, but a lot of people call this a budget knife. I think, my opinion, there's that word again, opinion, this holds up, as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, this knife holds up to the $100, $200, $300 knives out there. And even Dave Canterbury himself said he would trust this knife with his life if he was in a survival situation. So he didn't say that when we were out there, but he said that in interviews and stuff like that. So I figure, you know what, if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. Save some money. I love this knife, and I will keep continuing to use it. Like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So moving on. So this was the baton we had to collect. I chose oak because it had to last the whole course. And in the time, when I came back, I didn't have this time to do it because it was on a land nav course and you only have so much time. But when I had downtime, I was able to kind of make a little handle to pound down your steaks. I took tick spray, and I only used it at night. The ticks were already gone, but if you go in the summertime, if you go when there are ticks, take tick spray. You will need it. Fortunately, we didn't. Water, it was on the list to take 2. I pretty much used this. Never used the second nesting cup, but it's there if you need it. I use this to drink the water. And this is great, the Pathfinder nesting cup and bottle. It looked like the stainless steel one when I first got it. This is what it looks like coming back after just one course. Completely black, but some steel wool, chemicals will come right off because you'll boil water. That's what it looks like, and it held up great. Love Self-Reliance Outfitters products. I recommend going to their website, man. These are tried and true, and they will not fail. I don't believe they will. They might if you take a sledgehammer to it, but if you're using it for any situation, camping, whatever, you want to boil water, you want to cook in, right here. Cordage. Let's talk about cordage. So you need a 100-foot hank of 550 cord and at least 100 feet of bank line. This is the leftover 550 cord I had. We made other 6-foot with, and then here's the bank line. I actually bought the wrong kind of bank line on Amazon. So do not go to Amazon to buy your bank line. It said 36 tard bank line, and when I got there, it just unraveled on me. So I don't recommend Amazon. I recommend finding another website. I think on the packing list, there's a link to go buy some. I could be wrong. I can't remember. Don't quote me on it. But anyway, that's it. But here's the bang line. Someone, my partner actually gave me a whole roll, and then some other guy did. And I meant to give the whole roll back to my partner, and we left. And I messaged him, said, hey, I got it. He said, oh, I'll keep it, because he's a good guy. He's a Marine. But make sure you get the right kind of tard 36 bank line. And get your stuff way before the course, so that way, one, you can test it out, and one, you can make sure it's the right one. So make sure you get the right one. I didn't, but fortunately, some of the guys hooked me up, so I was grateful for that. So thank you if you ever see this. Thanks, guys. Let's see what we got here. Shelter. This is the space blanket. We reinforced the grommets and used the more 550 cord. Like I said, I haven't cleaned it, so it's still actually wet because it did rain a little bit. And we reinforced the grommets with Gorilla Tape. So you will do that in the class. It's one thing that you have to do. At least when I was there. Might change, I don't know, because these grommets tend to tear out. So, but this thing is pretty cool. It reflects your body heat because it's got the Mylar. See if I can, the Mylar on the other side. Even when you don't need a fire, because it was still warm out, I was toasty warm in my shelter. I slept like a baby out there. So, which was great. I was having some weird dreams, but I slept really good, which is odd for me. Yeah, and then obviously you're gonna put your 6-footers here for when you make your shelters. I just kept them connected, wrapped them around, so it was just easy to do. You will make a quick deploy ridgeline. This thing is awesome once you get it down and learn how to do it. I recommend practicing if you have downtime. Not going to tell you why, because I don't want to spoil it for you, but practice setting this up on your downtime. Practice, practice, practice. I think a lot of the reasons why people might not get it right when it comes to shelter building is they struggle with this. They struggle with getting a trucker's hitch, with getting the ball line, with getting all that set up, getting the marlin spike hitch, all that stuff done. I think I said that right. But anyway, that's what people mainly had trouble with. So practice that in your off time, setting up just the ridge line. Once you do that, the shelters are easy. All right, so practice that. I think I just gave too much away. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. So you have to have 6 tent stakes. I only have 5 because I burned one while I was there to start a fire with. And I chose the yellow Walmart ones, one because they're dirt cheap and they're yellow. At nighttime, if I dropped them in the woods, I could see them on the floor. Some guys there had black tent stakes at night, and not only that, but all the leaves had fallen. So you had leaves everywhere on the ground. So imagine trying to find a black tent stake on the ground where there's leaves, and most of the leaves were pretty dark. So if I were to drop these on the ground, I mean, they're brightly colored, I can see them. They also shave much better than the black ones if you ever need to use it, because these are good for tinder, for fire making. I think it lasted like 10-15 minutes on a burn. I forget, something like that. 10 minutes, I think, 10. But you can shave them down in an emergency situation, a last ditch, and they shave easier than the black ones. So Walmart brand, I mean, sometimes you find gems at Walmart. 6, like I said, I only have 5 left, so I'll have to get some more. All right, fire, your combustion devices, 6-inch by 1/2-inch ferro rod. Use this quite a bit. Well, not quite a bit because there's still some black on it. As you can see here, right here, Dave actually used my ferro rod. He was trying to see if an old, I think, caterpillar's nest would be tinder. It ended up not being it. It didn't light at all. So he actually broke in my ferro rod because it was all black. But anyway, that's it. Black on that side. 2 Bic lighters. Make sure you take 2 Bic lighters. I ended up putting tape on this during the course because Gorilla Tape is combustible. It's a tinder source. So might as well have it right on your lighter. And you never know if you need to, if you got a cut here, wrap your fingers, it's just there. All right. So yeah, 2 Bic lighters. Candling device. I just went with an Energizer headlamp. Had 400 lumen. It goes up to. It has a red lens. It doesn't have. The only thing is it doesn't have a blinking device. But that's okay. Hand over if I have to S.O.S for rescue. Spare batteries. So I just got some spare batteries for that. I had another set of spare batteries because I'm like, man, if it's dark out, I want batteries because they're super light. So I took an extra set of spare batteries. So, but at least have 1 set of spare batteries. 1 roll of Gorilla Tape. I did a whole roll of the 2-inch, or is it 2? Yeah, 2-inch Gorilla Tape, and used it for repairs on trash bags, things of that nature. This stuff is awesome, and it works. It's not like cheap duct tape where it kind of comes off. When I did my browse bed, I taped it up so that way, because it was a bunch of leaves and I knew there were spiders in there, and I hate spiders. So I was going to make sure they weren't going to crawl out on me at night. And trying to get this off because I wanted to recover my trash bags, but trying to get this off, like, oh my gosh, it ripped the trash bag before it would come off. So this Gorilla Tape, get it. Do not skimp out on this. Don't go buy some cheap dollar store duct tape. Buy the Gorilla brand. This stuff is awesome. Compass, the tried and true Suto MC with ranger beads or paste beads. I call them ranger beads. I'm not a ranger, but that's what everyone called them when I was in the military. I got the global. It's got the mirror on it. It's got lens. You can use that to start fires if you need to. Suto apparently is having some trouble with the global. It did stick a little bit, but I just kind of give it a little shake and then it was working fine. If you want to get the Northern Hemisphere one, which is pretty much where you're going to be unless you're traveling in the world, and it's not as expensive, but I got that one. I got this global one, and it did me just fine. Found all my points every single time. So, tried and true. And notebook, 3 mechanical pencils or pens. I like the pencils. I took copious notes. Note taking, take notes, man. My memory sucks, so it's good to have us as a reference. So that's pretty much everything. Now I'm kind of going to stop here, reposition the camera, and just talk about things that I would have done better, things that happened. I don't want to give too much away, so be back in a sec. Okay, so now I got everything repositioned. Just kind of wanted to talk about the course, what I thought, things that I kind of struggled with, things I wish I would have done better, some recommendations for you. So talk about land nav. You're gonna be doing a lot of land nav. It's very basic land nav. Learning how to use a compass, learning how to find your points. We didn't really do anything with maps yet. It was very basic. I did a lot of land nav in the military and the Army as an infantry soldier. And I was debating on doing the intermediate course. I was debating on doing that because I thought, well, I mean, I've done land nav, but I haven't done land nav in 10 years. And it is a perishable skill. So I'm glad I went to the basic because as soon as Paul Hack from Adaptable Survival started going over it, it just clicked. Boom, there it was. And it was just learning, instead of using a military Linsatic compass, I was using the Suto MC. So not much different. Actually, I think the Suto MC is better. I think the military should go to it because it was super easy. That being said, when you're out there doing land nav, don't make any assumptions, okay? I will tell you on the final thing, I got a little overconfident and a little complacent, and I found my last point on blind luck. I happened to literally just look to my right and went, oh, there it was, because I actually thought it was further up ahead. So don't assume anything, and if you're good at it, that's great, but make sure that you do what you're supposed to do. Don't rely on if you get complacent or if you get comfortable with it. Sometimes you get too comfortable, you get complacent. Don't do that. Just keep doing what you're doing. So that's kind of something I would have done better. Fire making, you're going to be making a lot of fires. I'm very impatient when it comes to fire starting. That's kind of my weakness. And I want to get the fire started. So my recommendation for you guys, if you go to the course, is to, even though you have a time hack to meet, have a little patience on starting the fire. Take your time, because once the fire gets lit, it's pretty much easy peasy after that. So take your time. I was just impatient and get frustrated. Don't get frustrated. Calm down. So that's something that I wish I would have done better on that. A lot of team building. It was just very cohesive. A lot of the guys there were great. If someone was struggling, there was someone else there to motivate that other person. I trained 3 months prior to. If you are not used to hiking with weight on your back for distance, train up for it. At least 50 pounds. Get up to 50 pounds if you haven't yet. There were a couple guys there. Ultimately, everybody patched, but there were a couple guys there who were, you could tell, it was like, yeah, I mean, it was a little bit rough, but they made it. We were encouraging them. We weren't trying to down anybody. That's not how it's like there. It's great. Everybody is trying to help everybody out. So if you're starting to struggle, there's always someone there. The instructors there are great. Paul Hack from Adaptable Survival, Jake Trent from Buckeye Bushcraft. Check out their YouTube channels. Bart he's not a YouTuber, but he was an assistant instructor. He was a great guy. And of course, Dave Canterbury. What can I say about Dave Canterbury? He's a freaking legend. They love to teach. It's not like when I went there, I was expecting old school military, knife hand, everybody, knife hand. And it's not like that at all, guys. Not like that at all. It is an excellent teaching school, and there is some suck value to it. Not gonna lie. You're gonna be walking. You're gonna be tired. You're gonna be hungry. You're gonna be carrying weight. You're gonna be going, when is this gonna be done? And things of that nature. You just gotta persevere through it. Mentally prepare for that. Mentally prepare for the fact that you're going to be asked to bring things when you go out. You're going to have time hacks that you have to meet. So time management. So make sure you guys have excellent time management. I don't want to give anything away, but you'll know when you get there. So just make sure you use your time wisely. And that being said, when you have downtime, prepare for the next task, even if you don't know what it is. Always be thinking about your next fire. Whenever I had downtime, I was tinder. Or if we're walking, there's some tinder. You can never really have too much. Well, I guess you can, depending on how much you want to carry. Speaking of how much you want to carry, I recommend only taking what's on the packing list. The more you take, the more you have to carry. And I promise you, when you get there, you're going to have to carry more stuff than you brought. So think about that when you're bringing stuff. You can have food. There's an endless supply of water. There's never and that, yes, any chance you get, fill up your water. Hydrate. I can't say that enough. Hydrate. Even if it's cold out, hydrate. So always be drinking water. And forget where I was going. But drink water. And for food, bring food that's on the go. If you want to bring beef jerky, I brought protein bars and some jerky and some trail mix. You do have some downtime at night where you can go by the community fire. There's no fires in the shelter area, but you can go by the community fire if you want to do a dehydrated meal and boil some water. That was actually really fun, talking with a lot of the guys there around the fire. In fact, that was one of my favorite parts about it. And we were just hanging out, joking, and the instructors were there too. I think Jake was there for a while, just joking with us. He's a young guy. He's 20. He's not even old enough to buy a beer, and he's a badass in his own right. Jake Trent from Buckeye Bushcraft. Learned a lot from him. I'm 40, so you still can learn from people. I know people say, well, I'm old. No, listen to them. Don't swallow your pride on that crap, okay? No one did that there, but I'm saying if you're that kind of person and you go there and you might, if Jake is your instructor, I know he's not old enough to buy a beer, but man, he's a plethora of knowledge. He knows what he's doing, so listen to him. Paul Hack, he's great at land nav. There were things I learned from him that I didn't even know, and it was basic land nav. I was like, oh yeah, that's a good, because he kind of going on, he's pretty good at land nav. He's done some very advanced land nav courses, but they set you up for success. The instructors want you to pass. They want you to patch. It's not like a thing where they're trying to get you to tap out. Nobody tapped out on our basic course, which was great. People have tapped out in the past, but like I said, it's even on their website. If you don't quit, they won't quit on you. All right? And if you don't patch, you can come back. I believe you can come back. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you can come back and patch and do it again if you want to. It was worth the money. If you're going to complain about the money, shut up. It was worth the money. I got my money's worth, and I'm so glad I did it. It was so therapeutic for me. It was, aside from, getting married and my kid being born and everything like that, it was one of the best experiences I've had in years. I finally found something that I really love doing. And I can't wait to go to the intermediate course, and I hope ultimately the advanced. It was very challenging, so recommend physical fitness, guys. Physical fitness. Train up for it. And I'm not talking about going to the gym and benching 500 pounds. If you want to do that, that's fine. But I'm talking endurance. Okay, walking distances. There's a lot of hills there. I don't have hills. I live here in Northeast Indiana. It is flat, flat, flat. I knew there were going to be hills there, so what I did was I made up for that, and I made sure every time I was doing 2 to 3 times a week, 3 miles at a 15-minute pace, and it paid off. When I got there, it was a little bit of suck, but that training paid off. You need to mentally prepare for the course too, because there are time hacks. So make sure you mentally prepare for that. Your physical fitness will help with your mental toughness. That's just the way it is. So get physically fit, train up for it. When you get there, you shouldn't have no problems. I just want to say, just kind of close out and say thank you to Dave Canterbury. I don't know if they'll ever see this, but thank you, Dave Canterbury. Thank you, Paul Hack, who was my team instructor from Adaptable Survival. Thank you, Jake Trent from Buckeye Bushcraft. Thank you, Bart, for being there and teaching us as well. I also want to give a shout out to Sean Kelly at Corporal's Corner. It was through his channel that I found this course. And a shout out to Andrew from Ranger Survival and Fieldcraft. I believe I got that right. On his YouTube channel, he gave some reviews, not of the basic, but he gave other reviews that kind of motivated me to really want to start doing this, and how he was doing a review. So thanks, Andrew. If you ever see this, appreciate it. Thanks to Paul Hack for his basic survival review. He went in 2018. He was my instructor, and I went and looked at that just to kind of prepare for that. Those reviews can help you mentally prepare, so I recommend going and watching them if you want to, or watch this one. Hey, and all that stuff. And let's see, who else do I want to? Oh, one. I also want to give a shout out to. This is kind of an inside joke. Zahn. When you go to the school, you're going to know who Zahn is. Thank you, Zahn, for always jumping up on the table, making sure I was taking good notes, guarding my gear, all that stuff. You're a good person, Zahn. You're not really a person. Anyway, that's an inside joke. But I hope this video was helpful for you. If you're interested, go to selfrelianceoutfitters.com, and there's a link on the side. Just click survival training. There's a bunch of other classes that aren't so challenging, as far as, like, there's Bushcraft 101, which is a more laid-back course. I probably might want to take that before I go to the intermediate. I know Dave recommended that when we were there. So I might do that. I don't know yet. We'll find out. But that's something that I'm considering, because it might help you in the intermediate course. People have gone the intermediate without doing it and still patched. But hey, would be nice to have a leg up, because one thing was repetition, muscle memory on starting fires and stuff like that. So that way you get it in your head. But ultimately, I enjoyed my experience. It was great. So thank you to everyone. Thank you to my family. Thank you to my wife and my kids for supporting me through this. Thanks to my wife, Tegan. Love you, babe, for staying home with the kids so that I could do this. It means so much to me. I just can't. I'm grateful. So that's what I want to say. Anyway, I hope this video helped you out if you watch it. I hope if you're interested, like I said, go to selfrelianceoutfitters.com. I'm going to try and post a link in the description box if it'll work. Like I said, I'm not a YouTuber, so I'm new at it. So if I mess it up, I'm sorry. But just go to that website, selfrelianceoutfitters.com. Everything's there that you need, even on the packing list. Everything's there that you need. Go to that website. And if you want to... if you're interested in videos, go to Adaptable Survival, go to Buckeye Bushcraft, Corporal's Corner, Ranger Fieldcraft Survival, and Dave Canterbury's site. He does a lot of great, man, he does a lot of cool cooking shows, and I'm rambling. Anyway, so I'll end that. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, go ahead. I have a couple other videos that aren't so good, but if you want to subscribe, if you want to share this video, share. I would appreciate that. And thank you, Dave Canterbury, Self-Reliance Outfitters. Thanks to everybody. And go out in the woods, man, and have a great time. See ya.